My name is Olivia Bennett, and on the night of my 12th wedding anniversary, my husband decided I needed a lesson. We had just finished dinner at a quiet steakhouse downtown when Daniel drove me out to an empty rest stop, far from home. The sky was dark, and thunder rolled in the distance. He kept the engine running. Then he turned to me and said, "Get out. Walking home might teach you respect." I stared at him, but I didn't argue. Instead, I pressed record on my phone. If this story already has you hooked, take a second to like and subscribe. You don't want to miss how this unfolds. I stepped out onto the cold ground. Daniel drove off, satisfied. But what he didn't know was simple. I had been waiting for this moment. And tonight, he made the biggest mistake of his life. From the outside, Daniel Bennett looked perfect. He was confident, successful, and respected. People admired him. His business was thriving, and at events, he always smiled like the perfect husband. But behind closed doors, everything changed. Daniel believed control was love. He told me what to wear, who to see, and how to act. At first, it felt small. He questioned my spending, asking why I bought certain things. He said my choices didn't make sense. Then it grew. He mocked my ideas. He dismissed my opinions. At dinners, if I spoke too much, he would give me a look that shut me down instantly. Slowly, I became quiet, smaller, invisible. But deep inside, I knew something wasn't right. And that feeling never went away. Daniel convinced me to leave my job. He said it would help our marriage. He said I didn't need to work. "I'll handle everything," he told me. At first, it sounded like care. Then it became control. He managed all our money. I signed papers without reading them. He said it was routine. I trusted him. That was my mistake. Over time, I noticed something. I wasn't his partner. I was someone he controlled, someone he shaped, someone he silenced. Still, I played my role because I was watching, listening, learning. Daniel thought he had trained me, but I was studying him. And one day, I knew I would use everything I learned. The first crack came on a normal Tuesday. I logged into our account to pay a bill and saw money missing. $10,000. Gone. When I asked Daniel, he brushed it off. "Business expense," he said. His tone was sharp, like I had no right to ask. That night, I told myself to forget it. But I couldn't. Once you see something strange, you can't ignore it. 2 days later, I found an earring under our pillow. It wasn't mine. When I showed him, his face changed for a second. Then, he covered it with anger. "It belongs to a client's wife," he said. Too fast. Too smooth. That was when I knew something was wrong, and I needed proof. I started writing everything down. Dates, amounts, conversations. I hid a notebook inside an old cookbook. No one would look there. I also began recording arguments on my phone. At first, I felt scared doing it, but fear slowly turned into focus. Patterns began to appear. Money moved in ways that didn't make sense. His stories didn't match. His anger grew whenever I asked questions. That's when I understood something important. Control always leaves clues. Lies always leave patterns. And I was finally seeing both clearly. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't confused. I was waking up. And once I woke up, there was no going back. I knew I couldn't do this alone. Daniel had too much power. He made sure I felt small, like no one would believe me. But I knew better. So I reached out for help. The first person I called was my brother, Victor Hale. He worked in security systems. He understood how to watch without being seen. He came to the house under the excuse of upgrading our security. Quietly, he installed cameras. Hidden ones. The second person was Sophia Cruz, a forensic accountant. She knew how to track money that people tried to hide. The third was Claire Dawson, a lawyer. Sharp, calm, dangerous in court. Together, they became my team. My safety, my plan. And for the first time, I felt hope. For 8 months, we worked in silence. I played the perfect wife. I smiled at his jokes. I stood beside him at events. I acted like everything was fine. But behind that smile, I was building a case. Victor's cameras recorded everything. Every late call. Every visitor. Sophia tracked the money. Small transfers at first, then bigger ones. Offshore accounts. Hidden companies. Claire guided me through every step. Don't confront him, she said. Let him expose himself. So I waited. Patient.
Calm.
Daniel thought he was in control. But slowly his world was slipping. And he didn't even know it. Our anniversary dinner felt strange from the start. Daniel raised his glass and smiled.
To 12 years, he said.
But his eyes didn't match his smile. Something felt off. After dinner, instead of going home, he drove away from the city. I asked questions. He gave short answers. Then we reached the rest stop. Empty. Quiet.
Dark.
That's when he told me to get out. His voice was cold. Like he enjoyed it. But I didn't react the way he expected. I stepped out calmly. Phone recording. Heart steady. Because I already knew. This was the moment everything would change. I watched his car disappear into the night. I counted slowly. 1, 2, 3. Up to 60. Then I stopped. Because I wasn't alone. A black truck waited nearby. Victor stepped out, holding an umbrella. Did you get it? He asked. I held on my phone. Every word. Rain began to fall. Heavy.
Loud.
Daniel thought he had left me broken. But he had just handed me proof. If you're still following this story, drop a comment. You'll want to remember this moment. Because this was the turning point. The night he lost control. And I took it back. We drove straight to the city. Not home. Never home. Instead, I checked into a quiet hotel near the river. I used my maiden name, an account Daniel didn't know about. At the front desk, I told the truth, but carefully. My husband left me at a rest stop, I said softly. The clerk looked shocked. She documented everything.
Time. Date.
Condition. Exactly as Claire instructed. Room 412 became my safe place. For the first time in years, I locked a door and felt safe. Daniel thought I was lost, but I was already ahead. 2 steps ahead. And moving faster every minute. Victor transferred the audio file to his laptop. We listened together. Daniel's voice filled the room.
Cold. Clear.
Pull. You need a lesson. It was perfect evidence. At the same time, Sophia called. She had found something big. Another transfer. $10,000.
Offshore.
But this time, she traced it further. It wasn't just hidden money. It was fraud. Serious fraud. Daniel wasn't just controlling me. He was stealing. Lying to clients. Building something illegal. And now we had proof. The cameras showed even more. One video stopped my breath. Daniel wasn't alone. A woman stood in our home. Laughing. Drinking. Wearing my robe. Her name was Elena Vargas. His assistant. I watched in silence. There was no pain left. Just clarity. In another recording, he said something worse. The prenup says she gets nothing. He was planning to leave me with nothing. To disappear. To start over. Without me. But he made one mistake. He underestimated me. And that mistake would cost him everything. Then came the hardest discovery. Sophia found payments linked to someone close to me. At first, I didn't believe it. But the truth was clear. My younger sister, Melissa, was involved.
She had debts.
Serious ones. Daniel used that. He paid her. In exchange for information. About my family. About money. About everything. The betrayal hurt. But I stayed focused. Because this wasn't just about feelings anymore. This was about truth. And justice. The next morning, we went to court. I wore a navy suit. Strong. Simple. Claire stood beside me. Victor and Sophia carried the evidence. Daniel was already there. He looked shocked when he saw me. Not broken. Not begging. Standing tall. The hearing began. Claire played the recording. Silence filled the room. The judge listened carefully. Daniel tried to speak. But his words failed him. Because truth doesn't need excuses. And lies don't survive evidence. Then everything happened fast. Bank records were shown.
Charts.
Transfers. Hidden accounts. Daniel's lawyer tried to object. But it was too late. The doors opened. Federal agents walked in. The room froze. Daniel's face changed completely. This was no longer just a divorce. This was a criminal case. Right in that moment, his world collapsed. And mine finally opened. If you've made it this far, make sure you subscribe because what happens next is even bigger. Because this was only the beginning. The emergency hearing was only the beginning. Within days, Daniel was formally charged. Wire fraud, financial abuse, embezzlement. Words I never imagined would be tied to my husband. The news spread quickly. Reporters gathered outside the courthouse. Cameras flashed. People who once admired him now whispered. Inside, the case grew stronger.
Victims began to speak.
One elderly man described how Daniel convinced him to invest everything. He said it was safe, the man whispered. Another woman said Daniel made her doubt her own memory when money disappeared. Listening to them, I felt something shift inside me. This was bigger than me. Much bigger. Daniel hadn't just controlled me. He had hurt many people. And now they were finally being heard. The trial began weeks later. The courtroom was full every day. Journalists, witnesses, strangers who wanted to see the truth unfold. Daniel sat at the front, quieter now. His confidence was gone. Claire led the case with calm strength. Sophia presented the financial records. Every chart told the same story. Money moved through hidden paths. Accounts led to offshore banks. Companies that didn't really exist. It was clear. Carefully planned. Deliberate. Victor's footage added another layer. Late-night meetings. Secret visits. Everything Daniel thought was hidden was now visible. Piece by piece, his perfect image broke apart. And there was nothing he could do to stop it. Then Elena Vargas took the stand. She looked different now. No confidence. No control. Just truth. She admitted everything. Their relationship. The plans Daniel shared with her. He said he was smarter than everyone, she said. He called it a game. The courtroom stayed silent. She played recordings from her phone. Daniel's voice again. Boasting. Laughing. Talking about money like it didn't belong to anyone. Talking about me like I didn't matter. Each word hit harder than the last. But I didn't break. Because I already knew who he was. Now everyone else did too. Then came a shock no one expected. A young man stepped forward. His name was Lucas Reed. He stood tall, but his voice carried pain. I am Daniel's son, he said. The room went still. He explained everything. A hidden past. A relationship Daniel never spoke about. Monthly payments sent in secret. Money traced back to stolen funds. The truth spread through the courtroom like fire. Daniel wasn't just hiding money. He was hiding an entire life. The judge watched closely. The jury listened carefully. And I realized something important. This wasn't just exposure. This was complete collapse. When Daniel took the stand, everything changed again. He tried to explain, to twist the story, to make himself look misunderstood. He even tried to blame me. She set me up, he said. But the words sounded weak. Empty. Claire didn't raise her voice. She didn't need to. She asked simple questions. Clear questions. Questions that forced him to answer. And with every answer, he fell deeper into his own lies. The more he spoke, the worse it became. Because truth is steady, but lies collapse under pressure. The jury left to decide his fate. The room felt heavy. Time moved slowly. Every second stretched longer than the last. Then they returned. Everyone stood. My heart was calm. Because I already knew. The verdict was read. Guilty. On every count. Each word echoed through the room. Daniel closed his eyes. For the first time, he looked powerless. The man who once controlled everything had lost everything. If this moment gave you chills, take a second to like the video. It helps more people hear stories like this. Because moments like this matter. Sentencing came 2 weeks later. The courtroom was quieter this time. No surprises left. Only consequences. The judge spoke clearly. Daniel Bennett, you abused trust and showed no remorse. Her words were firm. Final. 8 years in federal prison. Daniel didn't react at first. Then slowly, reality hit. Officers stepped forward. Handcuffs clicked. A sound I will never forget. As they led him away, he looked at me. Anger filled his eyes. He mouthed something. This isn't over. But I didn't flinch, because for me, it already was. Outside the courthouse, everything felt different.
The air.
The light. The silence inside me. Reporters called my name.
Questions filled the space around me.
But I didn't stop. Claire guided me forward. Victor and Sophia stayed close. For the first time in years, I felt free. Not just safe.
Free.
Daniel's control was gone. His voice no longer followed me. His shadow no longer covered my life. And in that moment, I realized something powerful. I didn't just survive. I overcame. And I was only getting started. I could have walked away. Started over quietly. But I didn't. Instead, I built something new. The Phoenix Center. A place for women like me. Women who felt trapped.
Lost.
Silenced. Victor handled security. Sophia helped uncover hidden finances. Claire provided legal support. Together, we created a system. A safe place. Our first client was a teacher named Maria. Her story felt familiar.
Fear. Control.
Hidden money. We helped her step by step. And when she finally walked into her new home, holding her keys, I saw myself in her. And I knew this was my purpose. Months later, a letter arrived. I recognized the handwriting instantly. Daniel. 4 pages.
Blame.
Anger. Denial. He ended with one line. I hope you learned your lesson. I read it once. Then I framed it. It now hangs in my office. Not as pain, but as proof. Proof that I survived. Proof that I rose. If this story meant something to you, don't forget to like, drop a comment, and subscribe. Your support helps stories like this reach others who need it. Because the truth is simple. He tried to break me, but instead, he built me. And I will never forget that.